Hi, 大家好. We come to the third part of the lesson 1, introducing GCSE Mandarin paper to students. Now we come to the question 3. I know that I hardly mention question 3 in any of my workshops, trying to tackling the writing paper. And it's not because I think the least of it. I think it's because I think it's the hardest to really teach, to just teach or summarize in the half an hour or 60 minutes workshop, because the translation, when we get into it, you will know what I mean. It's the hardest to predict compared to the first two questions, although the marks is the lowest of 3. Okay, so now let's just have a look the marking scheme first. It's pretty straightforward, actually. So yeah, all key message are conveyed. So they will give you 3 or 4 sentences. Then you got to translate them. And if you covered all the key messages, then you score. And then the next one is the application of grammatical knowledge of language and structures. As I explained at the beginning of the overview, is that those will be targeted grammatical knowledge that whoever devised that is trying to test on students. Okay, and it probably won't be the same thing. It's already been covered in question 1 and question 2. Okay, so let's have a look top rank one, as we always do. What really scares me, if I can use scare, is virtually faultless. Okay, so that's why I'm going to move one band down is to highly accurate. I do have students in mind that I know that they will get 6, but I think it's pretty hard, isn't it? In the 75 minutes, which means that the last 5 years of learning, they have such secured knowledge to have the excellent vocabulary all written correctly without any spelling mistakes, and all the structures being used correctly, not even one word out of its supposedly place. So it's quite hard, especially that you're under the exam condition and the clock tick and talk, and then you don't have much time left. And you still probably want to have another look of your question 1, especially question 2, since the teachers keep saying the question 2 is got 32 marks. So under all these different thoughts, different things that going through your mind, and you still can deliver this excellent knowledge and virtually faultless, actually is really hard. So I think that if students have to lose 1 mark, okay, it's pretty good, actually, highly accurate. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at the sample, and then we can discuss. Then I can discuss in your mind. I can really discuss is that I'll show you why I think actually this one is quite hard question. Okay, so have a look. My mom drove me and my friend to a local museum last weekend. Although the entry fee was very expensive, we had a good time. We had a lunch at the Italian restaurant opposite the museum. I'm going to start my new part-time job next Saturday. So what you see from these 3.5 sentences, that's exactly the question you should ask your students, and students should do a pair work, a group work. What this 12 marks is testing you on. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, the pretty straightforward here. Tenses 是不是？所以是什么？过去时 drove was had 过去时。Then I'm going to 将来时 okay. It may be in the future. This is sample, but in the 2021 paper, it might be present tense with past or whatever the combination. Okay, but all of them show up. And so the thing is, we're gonna look at is that okay, we're going to use past tense. How the Chinese past tense formed? Can we use that rule to apply to all the past tense in English? No, you can't, can you? You can't use la for this one. And you don't even need to use 了 for this one. You can use 了 for this one. You definitely should use 了 for this to show past tense. Why? Okay, so that's what they should have learned during the learning before, when they learn past tense, and then whenever they tackle a topic, when they're doing reading, listening, or writing, or speaking, when that question, came up, and then it's already being explained by you, by the teachers, okay? How the Chinese tenses, especially past tense, I found that most students found it really hard to tackle, because although it's quite, compared to most European languages, it's a lot simpler, but when you use it, it's quite different. It's the boundary of using it is really blurry. Sometimes you need to use la, sometimes you don't, definitely shouldn't use la. Okay, like this one. Okay, and also, this is really, really caught my attention when the first time I read it. Say this sample paper, is that the usage of have in English as well. English, you can use have anywhere. Yeah, you can use, as in Chinese, 有 is that 我有猫, I have a cat. Okay, you can say that. And also you can say, may I have a glass of water? You still use have, but here you're definitely not going to ask a waiter or waitress that 我可以有一杯水吗? Okay, people understand you, but that's not proper Chinese. Okay, sounds odd, sounds strange, 对吧? 我可以要一杯水吗? 对，请给我一杯水。You definitely, the 有 is just not right. And you wouldn't say 我有很开心的时光。是不是很开心的时间？对，一个好的时间。所以这个地方也不能。对不对？你也不能用有 we had a good time， 你也不能 translate good to 好，对啊，这个地方你不能说 had， 你要说吃，对不对？所以他还在 test 一个什么？他 test 一个 usage of some of the common words。And then they're being used totally differently in two languages. Okay， 所以非常有意思，是不是？And so here I want to mention is that if anyone interested in learning how to deliver grammar at this stage, will be definitely different, very different. Deliver the grammar, I think that's in the secondary compared to they really taking Mandarin as a major in the university. I hardly use any jargons or big words to explain grammar because it doesn't make any sense to the 11, 12, or 13, even they are 15 years old in year 11. If you big words to explain them, it doesn't make sense to them at all. Like when we were little learning Mandarin, and I think my generation all being asked to recite a lot of this big names, grammatical terms, as I already said, I always use that as example. 什么偏正短语，什么什么补助短语 what do they mean? We have to memorize the definition. That doesn't mean anything. So after all these years, I been long gone. Okay, I forgot them all. And what do they mean? Doesn't make any sense. So you're gonna use a way that they can understand, and then not just understand, they know how to apply it in a translation, in a piece of creative writing, okay, like opinion writing themselves as well. 所以如果你有兴趣的话，你说我想听一下我的一些心得的话，你就在这个下面留一下言好吗？在这个的那个就是 YouTube 的 video 下面留一下言，然后我知道看看多少人想有兴趣，然后我看我要不要做一个 video 来讲一下。好，你最好再给我一下，就是说什么样的 grammar。哈，你想听讲哪方面的 grammar？ 你可以给我一个具体的例子，这样的话就是更方便我来准备，更有的放矢 ，more targeted for me for preparation。好，谢谢。好，我们继续哈。So had lunch, okay. 所以 tense and usage of the language, okay. Then last weekend time 是不是？然后 next Saturday time. Where should we put time in Chinese? I think this is probably the first word order. Usually most teacher will teach their students the big difference between the English and the Chinese. And then the next one is place. 是不是 to a local museum, then at Italian restaurant opposite the museum. 这两个的 word order 是不一样的，因为一个是 to a local museum, it's almost follow the English word order. But this actions happened when you are already at that place, then the word order is totally changed. Okay, and also then another thing making it more complicated is that they use the position words opposite the museum. Okay, 所以 within this blue box involve another word order, different word order thing in Mandarin, in Chinese compared to English. 所以非常有意思。好，这是 grammar。Because it said application, the second criteria 是什么 application of grammatical knowledge. All this in boxes, I think they are the grammatical knowledge of the language and structure. Okay, and then the next thing is what is a vocabulary, because within the criteria they're saying that knowledge of vocabulary, so structures already we talk, so vocabulary. Now let's have a look what vocabulary from what topic you think this very short 3.5 sentences covered. Okay. Oh, there's the ozone. I'll talk about the ozone in a minute. Okay, so what topic? Transportation, 开车. My local area, a local museum. Holiday and travel, the entry fee. Okay, the entry fee usually depends on your schema work. Usually the entry fee I would introduce in a holiday and travel. What do you normally do when you're on holiday? Oh, I'm gonna go to a local museum. Oh, however, the entry fee is too expensive, so I didn't go in. Okay, Okay, 好 ，a Italian restaurant 是不是 food and drink? Position words. Usually I teach the position words in 左边、右边、前边、后边哈，是在那个学校的时候用学校的 facility 来教，但是你可以用在别的地方哈，用在别的地方也可以，家呀 my local area 或者是 my home 都可以，对 ，depending on your schema work. Future career 是不是 ？Next part-time job. 其实我还漏掉了很多，我都没有说什么 dates， 对不对？这些都是最基本的。Year 7那个就是before the first proper topic hobby, students will learn greeting, learn numbers, and the greeting involved how are you 你好吗 and their age， 对不对 ？And then you teach family， 所以。我都没有说这些了，什么妈妈这些都是 family 里面，就是最 the most fundamental and the basic topics they learn in the first year they started learning Mandarin, and so future career. 对，你看这么多就已经有6个了，对不对？对 ，future career 是 part-time job 哈，兼职，对，所以是不是很难？很难去预测，很难 very difficult to predict what will be in question 3. That's exactly why I tried very hard to avoid talking about question 3. You just don't know. So that's another thing actually, but it's a very good opportunity for you to really reiterate to your students that how important every homework, every classwork, every lesson you teach them actually is how they prepare question 3. It's everything. Everything from day 1 they have learned. 周末我的妈妈 from family 是不是我 and then 最早的东西都在这儿 was very expensive. Don't translate what was as 是 because it's an adjective, not a noun. As a basic grammar, you must have already given to them in the first half year, if not the first year, later of the year, when they began to learn Mandarin. 所以question 3 真的是一个综合，一个 comprehensive test on students' knowledge of the language overall. Okay, it's seemingly very simple and easy compared to the first 2, but actually I think it's a very hard one. probably after you learn opinion writing quite well, do a lot of practice with the students. Question 3 actually is the hardest one. Okay, it just you need to have so good vocab, everything you have learned, because you don't know what will be in translation. Can be anything. That's the problem. OK， 好 ，OK 哦。很快的哈，所以这个 although 我刚刚漏掉了，所以只有一个 conjunction 就是 although。And so you can see the question 3 probably is not really focused on the conjunctions, because they want you to use conjunctions. The students use the conjunctions in the more creative writing. In question 1, question 2, especially question 2, which is such a broad and open questions. Then students, and then the complex structures already been tested there in the range of language. Actually, is or mentioned in question 1 the quality of language as well. So in question 3, they will just give you the tricky ones, the ones that will try to catch you, isn't it? It's a little trap there, because when you use although in Chinese, you must have but in English, you don't need but. Okay, you definitely shouldn't have but if you already if you already use the although. 所以老师啊，就是你们在练习的时候一定要多给学生一些什么问题，给学生一些这样的 translation， 就是用 although instead of 用 but， because 如果你给 but 的话，学生they don't need to okay say although, that is still correct, because 但是 can be 什么 stand on its own, can be used on its own, isn't it? 所以这都是什么 everyday practice exercise。好，我希望我讲的不是太乱哈，我刚刚感觉有点乱，所以如果你们有问题的话，在那个再联络我吧，在下面好不好？给我留言，我应该去对。更新一下我的那个什么，我好像没有放 email 地址。好，一下哈，下面 summary 了。你现在讲完了3个 question， 那么现在就是你的 summary。How to equip for paper 4， 让学生讨论一下，我们讲了哪些很重要 ？3 tenses， 对不对？因为那个3个问题都涉及到 tense， 都有 tense 时态问题。第2个是 word order。时间应该放在哪儿？中文的时间在哪儿？中文的地点 the place 应该放在哪儿？对，还有涉及到很多其他的东西哈。你transportation 应该放在哪儿？对 every day I go to school by foot， 这个 by foot 是不是还是在句子的最后 in Chinese？ 不是，那应该在哪儿？所以这个跟英文的一个比较的 comparison to English, the difference word order in Chinese, in Mandarin 哈 conjunctions of course, yeah, range of language 我们说过了。然后第4个就是什么 argument building about the first question and second question argument building。第5就是什么A wide range of vocab for all 3 questions， 对不对？ Because that in the question 1, question 2, you say can be hobbies, can be healthy living, can be schools. I can think a lot on top of my head as well. So in the range of vocab, then no need to say about the question 3 again. I just explained how difficult to predict, because anything can be used for the 12 marks of a translation. So you have to. Students must have a very good retention, okay, of the vocab. Okay, the last one, yes, that's what I just said. Yeah, a good retention of all above. Grammar knowledge about three tenses, about the word order, about the usage of the conjunctions and where they should be put, and in the sentence, okay, the word order as well. And then what this is the new for most of students, which will focus on teaching, is argument building, open-ended opinion writing, and a wide range of vocab. So students need to have a very good retention of all above. Okay, and then in the last, if you still have time, do a quiz. Okay, that's it. We come to the end of our session. Okay, I hope you really find it useful. Can you please like it or share it with your colleagues or anyone you know that who are thinking about teaching Mandarin or who are undertaking the teaching training? I think that they may find it's really useful. I hope so. And then the most importantly, please can you subscribe? And every little thing you like it or share or subscribe for you is a few clicks. And actually for me, it makes such a difference. It's really encouraging me when I see people like it, then I want to make more. And otherwise, I may think that I'm probably just watched it for 30 seconds thinking it's rubbish. And so do that for me, please. And for the next lesson, we're gonna carry on to go on to how to deliver the lesson that tackling the question 1 and the question 2's opinion bulletin points, okay, the good aspects and bad aspects. And a lot of key vocab you can find already in the listening exercise I made last week, I think. And I also devised GCSE style listening question. Okay, so you can have a look at that before I make this video about how to teach it. Okay, so now I'm going to say goodbye and thank you for come to this far. I really hope that you find it useful. 好，谢谢你们，再见，我们下次再见。Thank you，拜拜。